Children, let's start with the third part of the chapter, chapter number 2, India before the times of Shivaji Maharaj. In this third part of the chapter, we shall learn about Maharana Pratap, Chand Bibi, Rani Durgavati, Aurangzeb and various conflicts. So let's begin. Maharana Pratap. After the death of Uday Singh, Maharana Pratap ascended the throne of Mewar. Here is a picture of Uday Singh, who was the earlier king, and after his death, Maharana Pratap ascended the throne of Mewar region. This is the region of Mewar. He continued the struggle of Mewar's existence. He was fighting for the Mewar's existence, and hence Maharana Pratap continued that struggle. Till the very end, he struggled with Akbar to maintain his independence. He struggled a lot with Akbar to maintain the independence of Mewar region. He has become immortal in history due to his qualities of valor, courage, self-respect, sacrifice, etc. You can see various qualities of Maharana Pratap. So he was very courageous. He had a self-respect and he had done a lot of sacrifices. Then we should learn about Chand Bibi. The Mughals attacked Ahmednagar, which was the capital of Nizam Shah's kingdom. In 1595 CE, the Mughal army put the fort of Ahmednagar under the siege. They captured the fort of Ahmednagar, and Chand Bibi. Who was Chand Bibi? She was the capable daughter of Hussain Nizam Shah of Ahmednagar, who was ruling over them. The daughter of the king Hussain Nizam Shah. Chand Bibi bravely defended the fort of Ahmednagar. At this time, there was an internal strife among the factions of the Sardar in Nizam Shah's kingdom. So during this struggle, there was internal gripes between the Sardar of Nizam Shah's kingdom. And because of this resulted in the murder of Chand Bibi. Later, the Mughal captured the fort of Ahmednagar, but the Mughals could not bring the entire kingdom of Nizam Shah under their control. So you can see Chand Bibi was defeating the fort, and she laid her life defeating the fort. Rani Durgavati. Here is a picture of Rani Durgavati. From this picture you can see she was very brave. Gondwana can be broadly said to be comprises of the eastern part of Vidarbha, part of Madhya Pradesh to its north, the western part of today Chhattisgarh, northern part of Andhra Pradesh and the western part of Odisha. You can see over here this part is a Gondwana land. Durgavati was born in the dynasty Chandal Rajput and became the queen of Gondwana when she was married. She was an excellent administrator. Here you can see the qualities of Rani Durgavati. She was an excellent administrator. The struggle of Gondwana queen Durgavati against the Mughals is important in medieval history. After her husband's death, Durgavati laid down her life while fighting against Akbar, but she did not surrender. Rani Durgavati was very brave. She defeated her kingdom in the difficult times. So after the death of her husband, she started defending the Gondwana land. So she did not surrender to the Akbar's army. She laid down her life fighting against Akbar. Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb became the emperor in 1658 CE. So when he became the emperor in 1658 CE. At this time, the Mughal Empire extended from Kashmir in the north up to Ahmednagar in the south, from Kabul in the west up to Bengal in the east. To this, Aurangzeb added Assam in the east and the regions of Adil Shahi of Bijapur in the south and Qutub Shahi of Golconda after he ended his kingdoms. So you can see during the Aurangzeb's reign, when he was ruling, there was a lot of growth of Mughal Empire. The Mughal Empire extended, and we can say that Aurangzeb was a vigilant and a good ruler. Now we shall learn about conflicts with the Ahoms. In the 13th century CE, the people of Shan community settled down in the valley of river Brahmaputra. So you can see how these people from Shan community looked, their attire, how they appeared. So who are these Ahoms? The people from Shan community, they settled down in the valley of river Brahmaputra and they established a kingdom over there. They were locally known as Ahom people. So what was their conflict? Let's see. While Aurangzeb ruled, the Ahoms had a prolonged struggle with the Mughals. The Mughals attacked the Ahoms region. So what was their problem? Ahoms were attacked many times by the Mughals. The Ahoms united under the leadership of Gadadhar Simha. What they did, they came together to fight against the Mughals under the leadership of Gadadhar Simha. Commander Lachit Borphunkan gave an intense battle against the Mughal. From this, Commander Lachit Borphunkan, he fought bravely against the Mughals. The Ahoms used guerrilla technique in the conflict against the Mughals. This is the technique of fighting. So it is a very unique technique of fighting, and it became impossible for Mughals to create a strong base in Assam. Because they used guerrilla technique, the Mughals were unable to create a strong or to capture Assam. Conflict with the Sikhs. The ninth Guru of the Sikhs, Guru Tegh Bahadur, protested strongly against Aurangzeb's policy of religious intolerance. Aurangzeb imprisoned him and beheaded him in 1675 CE. After him, Guru Gobind Singh became the Guru of the Sikhs. Guru Gobind Singh organized his followers and encouraged their martial spirit. He organized the Sikh youths into a fighting force called as Khalsa Dal. So he organized a fighting force to fight against whom? To fight against Aurangzeb's intolerance. Then the other Dal was called as Khalsa Dal. Their headquarters were at Anandpur. Aurangzeb sent his army to fight the Sikhs. His army attacked Anandpur, which was the capital or headquarter of Khalsa Dal. Although the Sikhs fought fiercely, they did not succeed. Why did they not succeed? Because Aurangzeb had a strong army and the Sikhs could not withstand the Aurangzeb's army. After that, Guru Gobind Singh came to the Deccan in 1708 CE. There was an attempt on his life, means there was an attack on him when he was at Nanded. And soon after, the Guru succumbed to his wounds. So in that attack he got very much injured and he succumbed, means he died because of that. Conflict with Rajputs. Akbar had secured the cooperation of Rajputs with his policy of amicable relations. Aurangzeb could not obtain the cooperation of Rajputs. So he wanted cooperation from the Rajput kingdom. After the death of Rana Jaswant Singh of Marwar, Aurangzeb annexed his kingdom to the Mughal Empire. Durgadas Rathod crowned Jaswant Singh's minor son Ajit Singh as the king of Marwar. Durgadas Rathod fought hard against the Mughals. Aurangzeb sent Prince Akbar to Marwar to crush the resistance of Durgadas. Prince Akbar joined hands with Rajputs and rose in revolt against Aurangzeb. And an effort was made to seek help from Marathas in Maharashtra. In this revolt, Durgadas Rathod continued this struggle against the Mughals for the existence of Marwar. Conflict with the Marathas. In Maharashtra, Swaraj was established under the leadership of Shivaji Maharaj. This we all know. In his efforts to establish Swaraj, Shivaji Maharaj had to fight the Mughals too, along with the other enemies. There were other enemies also. Aurangzeb came down to the Deccan after the death of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj with the intention of conquering the whole of South India. But the Marathas were very strong. They offered stiff resistance to Aurangzeb and defeated their independence. We shall study this struggle later on in the next chapter. So here we have completed with the chapter number 2, India before the times of Shivaji Maharaj. I hope you have understood the lesson.